to when we get to that portion of the agenda. We also had another finance meeting prior to this meeting at 6 o'clock. We reviewed the 2025 budget for the first time and a housekeeping ordinance. Both of those will be discussed at the next council meeting on Tuesday, June 18th.
Great, thank you very much. Anyone else? Sherry Tice, Strategic Planning Chair.
Thank you, President Keller. I'd like to announce that we'll have a strategic planning meeting on Tuesday, June 25th at 6:30. We will have the P3 folks, Tim Coburn, coming in, and the mayor and some members of the administration to discuss our strategic plan and some of the development initiatives that we have on. I also would like to address we are going to have an ordinance on the agenda this evening from our previous strategic planning meeting, and we'll talk about that when it comes up. And on the 18th of June, which is before our next council meeting, the dedication from Uptown Circleville of the circle sculpture and the clock will be happening, I believe, at 6 o'clock. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I hope that council members can attend that and schedule our meetings around that if more meetings come up. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Jeff Hallinan, Safety Committee Chair.
Thank you, President Keller. Just have one item on the agenda today, a resolution for the Countrywide 911 Service Fund, which I'll talk to when we get to.
Okay. Anyone else? I'd also like to just touch on the Uptown Circleville event. Council, you will be getting an invitation to that dedication on the 18th. Again, it's supposed to be at 6 o'clock. I do know we have a public hearing that same night that Linda will announce here shortly. It's at 6:45, but I think we'll be done with the dedication by then. Secondly, it's early June, Council. We are entering into vacation season. So if you could, as a courtesy, please send myself and both clerks if you're going to be absent for meetings, so we know if people are not going to be here, especially on council nights where we may have to have enough people here to pass legislation. If we don't have at least 6 people, we can't suspend rules and things like that. So if you got some vacations coming up, we know those things happen, and hope you have a good time, but just let us know. Thank you. Reports of city officials that are here tonight as council guests. We have the auditor, law director, and the mayor. Mark, do you have a report?
I do not.
Kendra, do you have a report?
Just briefly, I will be sending out probably within the next 30 days notices to sit down and meet with you from various admin departments as well as council to kind of go over policies and procedures. Looks like there's been a significant period of time since those have been reviewed by the city. Obviously, now that I have at least, I think, made it 6 months into my position, I do want to start forming those committees to start taking a look at those and long term to make sure that things that we have done previously for the city are still valid at this point in time. So just be on the lookout for that. So that's the only update I have at this point in time.
Council will be happy to help you, Kendra.
Thank you.
Mayor Michelle Blanton.
Yeah, I do have just a couple of things that I want to highlight. You may have seen, but there was a forum done at the library for underhoused. It was done with people from various agencies throughout the community to talk about homelessness within our community and what that definition is. There were several people that were present for that event, and so be on the lookout for more information coming out about underhoused people. Also want to talk about, you should have seen yesterday, the posting for the chief of police position went on the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police website, as well as out on all of our channels, social media channels, and on our website. So looking to have any application follow the instructions in that posting and send any artifacts to those people. They are not coming to the city, so please be mindful of that. They are not going to the HR department. They are going to the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police. And then lastly, I want to talk about a meeting that I had today. Specifically, the meeting is with CALEA, and this is for accreditation for our police department. I passed out to every council member a packet of information. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to go over any of it with you. I specifically want to highlight there's a document. It's the third page, and what I've given you, it looks like puzzle pieces that show the benefits. The fourth page shows the process that we would go through. And then there is also cost available or cost to accreditation. So there is a document here that shows how much that would cost. There is an opportunity because of the size of our police department for a program known as the CALEA Agency Support Program. This is funding available for underfunded law enforcement agencies. And so there is a discounted rate as well. So that document is listed there. And then if you go about halfway through, there's a document, it says law enforcement standard titles. This shows all of the standards that would be considered in accreditation when it comes to our police department. There are 186 standards that are considered. So when we're looking at our policies and procedures, we would need to make sure that we show that we have policies and procedures that go and meet these 186 standards. And then lastly, in your packet, you'll see a document. The first one is an announcement from Governor DeWine for law enforcement accreditation program. This is statewide. They're taking the collaborative board that we are already a part of, and they are taking those standards and formulating them into kind of a state level accreditation of law enforcement agencies. And so you'll see the 31 standards of professional excellence that they are focusing their accreditation on. There's a big difference between 186 standards and 31 standards. So the CALEA standards is very much more in depth and more of a lengthier process. If you're not familiar with accreditation, there's an assessment portion, a bunch of work that we do as a city, and then they send in evaluators into the city as well to look at those to make sure that what we are submitting meets their standards. That body that creates those standards, just for your information, is a group of 21 members. 11 of them are former law enforcement. The other 10 are made up of mayors, city managers, judges, former governors, etc. So it is not just law enforcement, and it's also not just non-law enforcement. And so if you have questions or you want to talk to me further about that, I'd be happy to talk to you about my conversation with them. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Michelle. Council, do you have any questions for the elected officials that are here tonight? Sherry?
Mayor, is this a program that we're just considering at this point?
Yeah, it's something that had come up in previous conversations. So I wanted to provide the information to you so that you can see it. It is a lengthier process. It does take longer than 12 months to go through from start to finish. But I do think that it would be beneficial. And in talking with the police, the acting police chief, it is something that he would like to see.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you for your reports. This is the portion of the meeting we have someone from the public to address city council. Would anybody like to speak? Please give us your name and your address before you speak to council. You have a 5-minute time limit.
Okay, it's William Haddix from 531 East Union. And I just wanted to make mention of something from the meeting that just concluded before this one. They were, talking about the marijuana part. And I think it definitely needs to be put out there as more of an education for citizens than anything. But I've got friends that work in the firearms industry, whether it's gun shops or whatever. And just because the state, made it legal for recreation, it is still federally illegal if you were caught in possession with it and you have a firearm, even though we are a constitutional carry state, permits not needed. But if you are caught, and it's even on the form you fill out to buy a firearm, if you're even a user, it's illegal technically to buy one. It's what Hunter Biden's actually going through his trial for right now. The drug really doesn't matter. It's just there. And a lot of people have no idea, because I've seen countless put down their medical marijuana card as their ID to try to buy a firearm. And of course, you get denied immediately. But they just don't know. The Ohio revised codes and things are hard to find. And people are just totally confused over this whole issue. So I think if somebody could look into it and find the statutes and all of that and put that in maybe an article in the Herald, and then of course Soda Post or someone like that could pick it up. And it might stop a lot of problems with, you know, when people do get involved with law enforcement for whatever reason, if there is a search for anything and it does come up. I mean, ignorance is no excuse for the law, but at the same time, I think people do need a little bit of education on it, since it is a relatively new thing for here anyway. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, that I would like to see something put, like I said, Soda Post, the Herald, that kind of thing. The people could actually see it. And then if they wanted to look into it farther, they would at least maybe have some of the, like the Ohio revised code numbers or whatever. But I've spoken with the governor's office on other topics, but I asked about this same issue and they said, yeah, it's still a felony if you do get caught. So, I mean, I guess it would kind of be an officer's discretion kind of thing at that point, but regardless, it might save a big, you know, tussle on a street corner, so to speak, if somebody thinks they're right and the officer's wrong or whatever. So education, I think, would definitely be beneficial in this aspect.
Thank you, Wayne. Linda, do we have any communications?
Yes, we do, sir. We have a notice from the auditor's office. From the auditor's office. It is a legal notice of publication, hearing on the tax budget. 2 copies of the proposed tax budget for the city of Circleville for the calendar year 2025 are on file in the office of the city auditor, City Hall, 133 South Court Street, Circleville, Ohio. These are available for public inspection weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. A public hearing on said budget will be held on Tuesday, June 18, 2024 at 6:45 in City Hall Building, Council Chambers, 127 South Court Street. That's all I have, sir.
I have a motion to place that on file. So moved by Katie Hedges, second by Zach Brooks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this communication is accepted. It brings us to the business portion of tonight's meeting. And Linda, we have several pieces. So first reading, go right ahead.
A resolution approving the countywide 911 service final plan as approved by the countywide 911 program review committee.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this resolution from the Safety Committee. Jeff?
Yes, thank you, sir. We had this come before the safety committee, and actually, I think all of council was involved as well too when this came across, but we had the presentation about the countywide 911 services and how that would move forward, how reimbursement would come to the city and the advantages of that, the way it's supposed to be run.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Your motion.
Motion to suspend rules.
Motion to suspend the rules by Jeff Hallinan, second by Tom Klitschko. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Duval,
Yes.
Hallidan,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Council, you're free to act on the resolution.
Motion for passage.
Motion for adoption by Jeff Hallinan, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, on the motion for adoption.
Hallidan,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 0636, 2024.
Okay, just a second. Mr. Hallinan has another commitment.
Yes.
You've read your resolution?
Yes.
You're taking off? Go.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good
You
evening.
stuck around to.
Thank you, guys.
read the Resolution.
Good job.
Thank you, Jeff.
Dedicated.
7:30.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Linda, next one.
An ordinance amending section 133.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Circleville to establish an arborist position and salary within the Department of the City Public Service and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance from the Strategic Planning Committee. Sherry?
Thank you, President Keller. This came out of strategic planning with a recommendation for passage. The grant from the Inflation Reduction Act that the city received for $1 million is over a 5-year period, and a part of that grant was the hiring of an arborist. And so this creates that position. The arborist will be completely paid for by the grant money, so it will not cost the city anything for the next 5 years. And it needs to be a certified person. The job description was emailed to you, as well as all the other information. So,
And it also creates a position, but also sets its pay, so that's good.
yes,
Okay, very good.
it's a part-time position.
Any other questions or comments about the ordinance? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend the rules by Sherry Tice, seconded by John Motes. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Oh, Hallidan's absent. Okay.
Council rules out and suspended. You're free to act on the ordinance.
Motion for passage?
Motion for passage by Sherry Tice, seconded by Katie Hedges. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0637, 2024. An ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the Circleville, Ohio, declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance from the Judicial Committee. Tom?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is an annual ordinance, allows us to file various codified ordinances. And it's an annual. I think the hard copy is, well, electronic, they're electronically filed, but also the clerk and our law director has hard copies of these, respectively itself. So that's really it. Not much to it, just housekeeping itself. So
Any other questions or comments about the ordinance? Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules by Tom Kutzka, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko.
Yes.
Rules have been suspended.
I'd like to make a motion for passage, please.
For passage by Tom Kutzka, seconded by Tom Duval. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0638, 2024.
Thank you.
You're welcome. An ordinance amending the annual appropriation ordinance in Everett's DRD Fund 226, Safety Forces 0.5% Tax Fund 227, Addiction Treatment Grant Fund 267, and Sanitary Sewer Improvement and Extension Fund 920 of the City of Circleville.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance from the Finance Committee. Katie?
Thank you, President Keller. This came from our Finance Committee on May 28th. It is about just under $1.9 million total. From the 226 Everett's DRD Fund, there was about approximately $15,000 of funds that should have been received in 2023, as well as $729.76 in auditor fees. From 227, there's approximately a $90,000 bill that the administration inherited from the previous administration for upfitting police cruisers that were purchased in 22 and 23. For 260, Fund 267, there's approximately $11,000 that's a request from the court for grant funding. And then the largest piece of this is about $1.7 million, which is a request from utilities for just simply a pass-through from the OWDA grant loan. I'm sorry, OWDA loan.
Right, great.
So this did come from finance with a recommendation for passage.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Motions? Motion to suspend the rules by Katie Hedges, seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Free to act on the ordinance, Council.
Motion
Motion for
passed.
passage by Katie Hedges, seconded by Tom Klitschko. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0639, 2024. And this is the last one. An ordinance enacting a section 135.13 to the codified ordinances of the City of Circleville, establishing certain part-time positions within the police department and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance, again from the Finance Committee. Katie?
Thank you, President Keller. This was something that actually came through council in 2023 as approved that created these part-time positions. It was discovered later that there were not, what's the word I'm looking for? There was not, like, the financing piece was not included
Right.
to that. So this is simply cleaning that up. Like I said, this was already passed in 2023 to allow for the positions. This is just correcting the finance piece. It did also come out of finance for recommendation for passage.
Other questions or comments? Is there a motion? Motion to suspend the rules by Katie Hedges, seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Ready to act on the ordinance, council. Motion for passage by Tom Duval, seconded by John Moats. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 06/40/2024. That's all I have, sir.
Great, thank you very much.
You're
That
quite
brings us
welcome.
to the new business portion of tonight's meeting. Council, we're planning to have an executive session tonight. Katie, want to
Thank you, President Keller. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purpose of discussing employment. This to be part of pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1, include all of council, the president of council, law director Kendra Kinney, as well as Mayor Michelle Blanton.
Okay, and council, when we come back out of executive session, it will be only to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on the motion to go executive session.
Moats,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Klitschko.
Yes.
We will adjourn the executive session as soon as the room clears. Thank you very much.